There's a lot of hype surrounding Superhuman, a controversial startup that's being marketed as the fastest email experience ever made. It's designed to change how people send, receive, and manage their emails. Before it even officially launched, the startup was valued at $50 million, and now it is valued at many millions more. Since Superhuman is competing with free email, you might assume that its price point is very low. However, the startup is operating on a $30 per month subscription model. And believe it or not, Superhuman's waitlist includes hundreds of thousands of users who want in as soon as possible. Furthermore, it seems that Superhuman has begun a new trend of reinvented email clients, including the just newly launched Hey from Basecamp CEO Jason Fried. But that could be a video of its own. As for Superhuman, in 2019, its founder, Rahul Vohra, stated that the startup has insane levels of virality that haven't been seen since Dropbox or Slack. So what makes the company Superhuman so unique? And why are so many people waiting to pay $30 per month for a service that could be free? Could it grow to be worth billions one day? Or is it simply too exclusive to ever reach that kind of valuation? While there are many reviews and hands-on videos about Superhuman software on places like YouTube, on this episode of Hello World, we want to look behind the scenes and understand why this startup is so different in how it's being built, what other startups and entrepreneurs can learn from it, and whether the company has what it takes to become the next billion-dollar startup. There's much to learn, so take a cup of coffee, sit back, and enjoy. You are watching Hello World, where we discover the newest and most promising startups and beta projects around the world. The Superhuman email platform first launched in 2017. At a glance, the app looks rather plain in nature, but that seems to be one of the platform's major selling points. The creators set out to design a program that would be subtle, delightful, and gorgeous, considering that many people average around 3 hours a day in their inboxes. In addition to being subtle and simplistic, the Superhuman platform was specifically designed for speed. The creators claim to have built the fastest email client in the world, stating that they brought back the 100 millisecond rule first coined by Gmail creator Paul Buchheit. This rule basically states that every interaction should be faster than 100 milliseconds, as he believes that this is the threshold where interactions feel instantaneous. Another notable feature is the platform's ability to weave social media insights into your workflow. This integration will allow you to collect user information and create new connections across social sites such as LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Now that we know what Superhuman is, let's take a closer look at its founder. This is crucial in order to understand why the company is being built the way it is and what is so special about it in the second half of this video. As a child, Superhuman's founder, Rahul Vohra, dreamed of becoming a video game developer, and he has been coding ever since he was 8. He ended up working on Runescape, one of the world's largest multiplayer online role-playing games. Keep his passion for video games in mind. It will be relevant later on in this video. Rahul might have come from a gaming background, but he has an obvious entrepreneurial spirit. He even helmed Cambridge University entrepreneurs during his time at the college, where he graduated in 2005. Rahul ended up founding Rapportive in 2010, a company that designs tools that enrich contact profiles on Gmail. The idea was to build a rapport with other users and expand your network. In an interview with Business Insider, Vohra described the tool as relationship management built into your email for free. Lots of excitement surrounded Rapportive, and it received financial backing from Y Combinator, one of the world's most renowned startup incubators, as well as Paul Buchheit, the founder of Gmail itself. Gary Vaynerchuk, a world-famous entrepreneur and internet personality, also invested in Rapportive. Rapportive had a lot to offer. With it, you could manage your contacts and find out more about their social media activity. It was also considered a productivity tool, and many users used it to reduce spam. Rapportive was eventually acquired by LinkedIn, for $15 million, and LinkedIn rolled it up into its Sales Navigator premium tier. Investors were, of course, pleased with the fact that it was acquired so quickly and by such a reputable company. With Rahul's background in Rapportive, it is not hard to see why he started Superhuman. His last company focused on automation and productivity, and now he's aiming to improve the email experience yet again. This is called founder market fit, but we will come to this later in this video. Rapportive primed Rahul for Superhuman, which is part of the reason Superhuman was valued at $50 million before it even launched, when the startup raised $10 million at a $50 million valuation back in 2016. This success shows just how interested venture capitalists were to get in on the action. To be fair, some startups are worth tens of billions of dollars, but to be worth $50 million before you even technically launch is quite the achievement. Many people believe that the valuation had a lot to do with Rahul's reputation and the fact that LinkedIn had already acquired Rapportive. Despite many doubters, Superhuman currently has a waitlist of over 250,000 users, which shows that the demand for its product is certainly real. So, why the exclusivity? Why having a waitlist and not making Superhuman accessible to anyone? Rahul points out, "We are doing it because we are obsessed with making you successful with Superhuman, and if we believe that the product is not yet ready for the kind of email that you do or how you do it, we simply won't onboard you." Rahul makes it clear, Superhuman is not for everyone, but for a clearly defined, narrow target group, which brings us to the next part. Now that we know the background of Superhuman and its founder, we want to understand why this startup is so different and special in how it's being built. Let us focus on 4 unique methodologies and principles Rahul has developed over the last years in order to make Superhuman a successful product. There's a lot to learn, and all of the methodologies are applicable to your startup or side hustle as well. So let's dive right in. Despite spending nearly 2 years working on the code that would power Superhuman, Rahul knew that he wasn't ready to launch his startup just to see what sticks, which is actually a pretty common approach in Silicon Valley. Instead, he was thinking about product market fit, which is the degree to which a product satisfies a strong market demand. In other words, reaching product market fit means that you have reached a stage in your company development where there is strong demand for your product or service in a specific market. Reaching product market fit is seen as one of the main reasons why a startup succeeds. But Rahul felt like many startups were using it as a lagging indicator. Specifically, Rahul felt like startups became successful and then often went back to explain how they became successful, rather than thinking about product market fit early on and establishing some metrics to actually measure whether product market fit was happening. As the Superhuman team has been working tirelessly for many months already without having officially launched, Rahul tried to find a way to measure his current product market fit in order to then set clear product market fit goals for Superhuman, which would keep his engineers motivated to keep working on the product and not launching before it truly was ready. So here is what Rahul did. He emailed the first Superhuman beta users at least twice a week to find out whether they would actually be disappointed if they couldn't use Superhuman. This would serve as an indicator if his product really fits his target group. However, the percentage of users that stated they would be disappointed was only 22%. Sean Ellis, a well-respected entrepreneur, angel investor, and startup advisor, believes that the number has to be around 40% to reach clear product market fit and thus true scalability. In other words, if less than 40% of the people who use your product would be very disappointed if they couldn't use it anymore, there's a good chance that you haven't achieved product market fit yet. Rahul understood that Superhuman needed to improve these numbers. To do so, in a structured manner, he ended up developing a product market fit engine. Essentially, this product market fit engine is a set of survey-based steps and procedures to define, measure, and systematically increase your product market fit. If done correctly, it can even generate your product roadmap for you. Here are the 5 main steps of Rahul's PMF engine that you can apply in your company as well. Step 1. Set up your survey to ask your users how would you feel if you could no longer use Superhuman. Step 2. Segment your audience to find supporters and paint a picture of high expectation customers. Step 3. Analyze feedback to convert on-the-fence users into fanatics. Step 4. Roadmap your improvements by doubling down on what users love and addressing what holds others back. Step 5. Track product market fit over time as your most important metric. Those 5 steps are of course broken down into more specific and clearly defined sub-steps that can be executed accordingly. I'll put a link to Rahul's original product market fit engine paper in the video description below. I highly recommend reading it, as the document not only contains a representative sample of actual Superhuman data, but it also is an interactive toolkit so you can use the engine with your own product. Interestingly, David Sachs, one of Silicon Valley's most prominent investors, announced just last week that he has invested in a new startup called Viable Fit, which provides software that helps companies measure and improve product market fit. This company is based on Rahul's product market fit engine. I'll leave a link in the description for Viable Fit as well, if anyone is interested to check out their software. But now, on to the second methodology. You might be thinking right now, what do games have to do with email clients or enterprise software? So let me explain. Rahul understands that games have very specific goals, such as reaching 1000 points or the next level, which increases usage, joy, and the motivation to keep on playing. However, Rahul realized that business software in general tend to lack any meaningful goals, which thus reduces motivation, usage, and joy to use this software. Being a game developer by training, Rahul realized that Superhuman could take a lesson or two from game design. The idea here is simple. If Superhuman users feel like they are playing rather than working, this could improve overall productivity of those users and would therefore create a clear value that Superhuman could charge for. So, as a first step, Rahul created a very specific and challenging goal for Superhuman users to get to inbox 0. Having established a clear goal, Rahul realized that it's also hard to enjoy a game with a specific and challenging goal if it doesn't feel like the game is responding to you. Imagine playing a computer game, but the character just won't respond to your input or controls. Rahul wanted to incorporate responses into Superhuman, with the controls being your keyboard. So he created the autocompleter tool, which does its best to understand what the user is trying to accomplish, automating this task and responding back to the user accordingly. This tool was created to playfully maximize productivity and even spark creativity and curiosity, which finds huge popularity among its users. There are more gaming principles that Rahul has incorporated into his startup, such as making the next action obvious. But without going into more detail here, it's clear that game design principles have served Rahul and Superhuman users very well and is definitely something that can be incorporated into your startup or products as well. We previously mentioned that there are hundreds of thousands of people waiting to get access to the Superhuman software. And once you are accepted to become a user of Superhuman, the journey is not over yet, which brings us to the next point. The onboarding procedure is one of the most discussed aspects of Superhuman. The company could have made the service available to anyone who was willing to pay $30 a month or even offered a free trial. Instead, it decided to send out questionnaires to create a specific, ideal customer profile that would benefit from Superhuman and carefully choose who had access to their service. While other companies don't even have an onboarding, every user that was chosen to get access to Superhuman has to have a 20 to 30 minutes one-to-one onboarding session with a member of the Superhuman team. Many startups would consider this a complete waste of time, but Superhuman believes that this obligatory onboarding is an incredible way to create a personal connection with their users. Once the onboarding process begins, Superhuman asks the user questions about his or her business, which helps Superhuman to understand their users' pain points, what they are concerned about, and what aspects of Superhuman they believe will solve their problems or concerns. Ultimately, Superhuman's one-to-one onboarding teaches users how to use the product, meaning all its controls, responses, and tricks, products so that users can take full advantage of all the features that it has to offer. Imagine the onboarding as a test drive in a car racing game that teaches you all the controls, features, and tricks to win the game. This is quite a unique approach, and many startups simply don't take the time or effort to onboard users this way. However, this does help Superhuman understand what's working, what may need work, and also what their customers are using Superhuman for. Superhuman could have launched their service and marketed to millions of users, but this approach has helped them tailor and perfect their service for their core users. I believe the lesson to learn here is that creating channels that allow you to get in touch with your users, listen to their needs, and observe their behavior should be a main part of your day-to-day operations, but unfortunately is often being sacrificed for the sake of speed or scale. By now, you might have realized that Rahul Vora has spent much time and thoughts on new ideas and methodologies that probably might sound controversial or counterintuitive at first, but ultimately serve the company's goals. This brings us to the last point. Many founders and investors are aware of product market fit, but founder market fit is a term that has gained more traction in recent years. Many investors are looking for founders who are truly passionate about what they are building rather than the actual product or service itself. The logic is simple. You might have an incredible product or service that is ready for the market, but are you the most suitable person to lead the company long-term, execute on new ideas, and keep innovating to win over competing companies? In Superhuman's case, it seems that Rahul Vora has achieved founder market fit. Rahul has already successfully sold a company to LinkedIn and Rapportive focused on similar pain points as Superhuman. His previous history is proof that he understands the email sector and how it could be improved. Many other founders would have immediately launched Superhuman to the masses with a lower price point to attract users. However, Rahul Vora has been extremely careful and diligent with product development and onboarding. He didn't do this to build a buzz. He did it because he understood that users who want the best email experience deserve to get the best service possible. The fact that Rahul also has a game design background is essential to improving the service, and many believe that game design will affect every imaginable sector in the near future. Finally, Superhuman's waitlist of 250,000 people who are waiting to try out his service certainly indicates that Rahul Vora is the perfect founder for the job. So how far can he take Superhuman? Compared to Gmail, Superhuman doesn't have over 1 billion users and is clearly not trying to be available to the masses. However, the company can absolutely reach a valuation in the billions, and technically, all it would take is about 300,000 subscribers who pay $30 a month to reach a $1 billion valuation. When you consider that there are already 250,000 people on the wait list, it's easy to see that this is extremely attainable. In any case, I believe the main lessons that we can learn from Rahul and Superhuman are to first identify who your perfect customers are, and to then truly focus on delighting them. This means taking the time and effort to understand one user before scaling to 10 or 100, to not sacrifice quality for growth, and to take time building true value and meaningful relationships. I believe that in a time where building startups has become a race for market share and growth, Superhuman takes a different route and can be a great case study for other founders who are working very hard to build awesome products. With that being said, thanks for watching this first episode of Hello World. I am running a small free newsletter, also called Hello World, where I try to identify the newest and most promising beta projects and startups worldwide every week. I hope this could be a good resource for other entrepreneurs and investors to get inspired and to learn about the newest innovations and startups. Feel free to subscribe to my newsletter for free and to get in touch with me there as well. I'll put a link into the video description. Finally, if you come across a new startup or beta project that you think is worth covering on Hello World, please feel free to comment down below or just drop me an email at nikolai@joinhello.world. While Superhuman clearly has been around for some time, we will be focusing on much earlier stage startups and innovations in the next few videos. So if you have any suggestions, please do let me know. And if you liked this first video, please consider subscribing or sharing it with someone you believe could find value in this case study as well. This would help me in applying what I have learned from the Superhuman case. Together get in touch with my first few viewers to understand what value I could provide and to then iterate accordingly. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!